Okay, I'm going to get started with the wind window description and how it's going to help you out when you're learning to kiteboard. So think right now you're sitting down on your couch or you're watching this at your desk. Imagine that you're actually outside and the wind was coming to your back, no matter where you're coming from. The arrow in front of wind, right here, is actually going to be straight in front of you. So just picture you're standing or sitting right here at your desk or at home or wherever you might be, and that arrow is pointed straight in front of you. So this entire area straight in front of you, this whole area, is actually what we call downwind of you. So everything in front of you is downwind. Everything behind you is upwind of you. So that's going to help you to understand where your kite can actually fly. Now with the wind window, we like to label it with different numbers, just like a clock face. We have 12, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 being to your left, 3 being to your right, and both of them being at 45-degree angles from where you're sitting or standing. And that's straight above you, not in front of you. For example, 12 o'clock would be if you were to look straight up from where you're sitting right now and look at the ceiling. That's going to be 12 o'clock. So if your kite was up at 12 o'clock, you have these lines attached to it, and you were flying it at 12, that's going to be the most neutral part of the wind window where your kite can fly. So where you're sitting right now, just look straight up at the sky or the ceiling and imagine your kite flying straight up there. When you launch your kite or you're standing on the beach or anything like that, your kite's going to be at 12 o'clock. And let's say you wanted to maybe walk to the left with your kite, but you didn't want it to pull you. Well, you can bring the kite down on the edge of the window over to the left, about 45 degrees angle from where you're sitting or standing. That's still going to be straight above you, but it's sort of to your left a little bit. That's going to be considered your neutral position. So your kite's at 9 o'clock, but it's still at your neutral position. Now you can do the same at 3 o'clock as well, but I'm not going to draw it in. Now where the window starts to change is when you actually start to steer the kite down in front of you. So right now your kite's straight at 12 o'clock, or sitting right there, and you end up steering it straight down in front of you. So let's switch up a color a little bit. So you end up steering it straight down in front of you, straight downwind of you, and then you start to bring it over to the left and then back up to 9, and then you dive it back down to 3, and then you have it keep going in these figure-8 patterns, diving down into the window straight in front of you every time. The kite's going to generate power when you do this. This is called a figure-8. Every time it crosses in the middle, that's going to be the most power of where the kite's getting. And every time it kind of moves to the edge of the window, it's going to almost become depowered. And that's why you steer it back into the window. So this is called a figure-8, and you've kind of learned about what the power zone is. This is the center of the power zone straight in front of you. And as you kind of come more to the outside, that almost draws these like big bands of wind where you're going to get less power on the outside of the window than you are straight in front of you. So to review, you've learned that you have different points of the window that we label as with numbers like a clock face. You've learned downwind and upwind terminologies, and you've learned where your kite can fly. So next we're going to talk about direction, quality, and speed, and that's all under the wind awareness section of this hub page.